Well, award-winning author Colleen Carroll Campbell joins us via phone to talk about her book on ways saints can help us to recover from perfection. Colleen, thanks so much for being with us. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me with you.
Yes, down in D.C., right?
That's right. I'm
Big
on
day.
a little book tour for the
Big
Heart
day.
of Perfection, but I'm also here, yes, I happen to overlap with the big news story of the day, right?
You do? Well, maybe our big news story is you today for us.
All right.
Hey, tell us what led you from being a lifelong overachiever, I mean, you wrote a resume in the 6th grade, to writing about the heart of perfection.
Well, the short answer is I became a mother.
Yeah, that does change a lot.
Yeah, it really does. You know, the perfectionism that I think carried with me all of my life and never really identified. It helped me, you know, in the pressure cooker environments that I worked in. I worked in the White House and in newsrooms and TV and, you know, high pressure, a lot of deadlines, a lot of eyeballs looking at you, making sure you're doing things right. And I liked the challenge, and I thought perfectionism served me well in those environments. But then I became a mother, and I discovered that the perfectionism, that sense of drivenness, that trying to do everything flawlessly and beating myself up when I didn't, did not mesh well with trying to be a joyful, affirming, unconditionally loving mother. For one thing, it was making me crazy trying to do everything perfectly in motherhood, because anyone who's a parent knows that's just not possible. The only perfect parent is God, right? So when my twins were born, and I have 4 children now, but when my twins were born 9 years ago, I began this journey, and I had a moment outside an ER with a child that had an accident. I was blaming myself, and I was really overcome with condemnation in the sense of, you know, how could you screw up this badly? And kind of out of the blue, I almost heard like a different voice, and I don't mean audibly, nothing cuckoo, right? But I just had this sense of, well, wait a minute, is that voice that's always criticizing me and accusing me, is that God's voice? Or is that actually some sort of perfectionist voice that I need to start questioning and even reject? And so that was the beginning of my journey to try to recover from perfectionism. And I found out, to my surprise, that the saints, who I had always seen as sort of spiritual overachievers, could be really helpful on that journey.
Now, Colleen, this is Bishop Reed. You're a busy mom, 4 kids. So would you say that you have completely recovered, or do you still kind of try to juggle everything and deal with your growing holiness and your desire to model your life after the saints?
Well, I certainly am a work in progress, like all of us, right? So I certainly would not claim to be a fully recovered perfectionist. I'm on the path like everyone else. But
Sure.
I would say that I've learned a lot from these recovering perfectionist saints, is what I call them, and I profile, in the Heart of Perfection, I profile 7 of them. And one heretic who didn't recover, and I think her lack of recovery shows us a lot too. And how the lessons that they've taught me do fit into my life as a busy mom, as someone who is writing books and giving speeches, but I'm also homeschooling my 4 children. So, you know, life is a juggling act for me, like it is for most people. And I've learned a lot from these things. I mean, especially when I think of recovery from perfectionism in the context of balancing a lot, Benedict of Nursia, who's, you know, in some sense had kind of that striving mentality in the beginning and went on to be known for his famous Benedictine balance. His story was really helpful to me, and that emphasis on limits, the fact that we can't do it all in this life, but God doesn't expect us to. He's asking more and more from us, I think, not striving, but surrender. And for me, that was a key paradigm shift, to recognize that holiness isn't something I'm going to acquire simply by trying harder. I do have to cooperate with grace, of course, but every good work begins with grace. And so what I need to do more and more is surrender to God's plan, God's way of sanctifying me, even when God's way may be letting me live for years with faults that I wish He'd erase overnight.
Well, Colleen, you have other books, you have a lot going on. Where can people find out more information about your work?
Well, The Heart of Perfection is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Ippies, everywhere, Catholic bookstores. And if they want to learn more about me or find out more about the book, my website is colleen-campbell.com, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Very good. Well, Colleen, thanks so much for being with us, and enjoy Washington today.
Thank you very much. Take care.